Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday. I'm so excited it's Friday. Happy it's Friday. So, today, I don't know how or what I was going to title the video. There were so many things going around in my head from yesterday, from this morning. Not bad things, all good things. All wonderful, beautiful, happy, joyful, good things. So, I guess I'll start with yesterday. Wait a minute. What? Oh, it's telling me to go that way. Okay. Good thing I sat here at this red light. Not that I could go anywhere else, but at the red light. That's so funny. Good thing I stayed here at the red light. I don't have a choice. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so yesterday, I had a meeting. I went out for coffee with someone, and we were talking blah 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 blah, and we were sitting at Starbucks for so long. Dinner time came around. I was like, I'm hungry. I was like, did you eat yet? And like, no. I was like, you want to get something to eat? And he's like, oh, well, there's a Starbucks. A restaurant over there. I'm thinking, what, Hometown Buffet? He was like, no, not Hometown. I was like, he was like, oh, Olive Garden. I go, oh yeah, it's right there. So we walked on over there and we had dinner and we were talking. And I don't know how the conversation got to where it got to, but he started asking questions he started talking about someone, and the reason he gave as to why the person was experiencing what he was experiencing really wasn't, it was a surface reason, but it wasn't the root reason. And I said, and I told him the root reason, blah, blah, blah. And then they started asking questions about me and how I deal with things or whatnot. And they were like, and so it came up where they were presenting scenarios, and in the scenario, my answer or my response wasn't, and I knew it wasn't going to be what everyone else experiences. So I guess, how did the person ask me? The person asked me how, like, what I would, talking about sharing, I guess, stories about things or myself, or how do I don't know, about sharing problems. That's what it was. And I said, oh, well, I don't do that. I don't share my problems. Meaning I don't complain. Most people complain about the things that they're going through. And, openness. It was about openness and communication. And I'm fine with being open, and I'm fine with communicating. What I'm not fine with is complaining. I'm not fine with venting. I'm not fine with just talking about things just for the sake of talking about things. And yesterday, as he was actually throwing out many scenarios, because it seems like what he was trying to do is find some kind of commonality. And the thing is, you won't find that in me in regards to a lot of things. You just will not find a commonality within me and another person, or me and everyone else. It's rare that you would find that, which means it's going to be rare that you find a person who processes things the way that I do. And of course, I understood where he was coming from. I understand bouncing problems off of people, saying, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I used to be there, but I now understand that all of those questions, all of those actions, all of the questions that you ask people is due to uncertainty. Uncertainty in what respect? Uncertainty in your ability to have the answers to whatever questions you're asking. We're gonna have to do this morning? Okay, fine. We can do this morning. One's uncertainty in terms of them having the ability to answer their questions or solve the problem themselves. That's why you ask other people for advice, because you don't feel you have the answer. What would you do, they say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, damn it, I know what to do. I know the first thing I need to do when I'm not sure or I'm faced with a decision. And it's not that I'm not sure. We all have the answers, and so I know I have the answer. And so anytime I'm in a position or a situation where there is a decision to be made, I know the answer is there. The right answer is there. And before, I didn't know that. Most people don't know that there is a right answer. Most people don't know that there is only one answer, one truthful answer. And it exists. And now that I understand that, I choose it. Or at least I try to anyway. But that's what it's all about. You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. So anyway, what I realized last night is, or what I realized last night is that people are trapped inside themselves. They are trapped inside themselves. They're trapped inside their body. They're trapped inside their circumstances. They're trapped inside their experiences, their pain, their suffering, their uncertainty. They're trapped. And this is one of the reasons why people commit suicide. It was just so clear yesterday. That's why I'm making this video, because it was just so clear, because it helped me to have a greater understanding as to why people ask me the things that they ask me, and why people are uncertain, why people are unsure, why people make the decisions that they make, because they're trapped. They don't have the freedom. But aside from that, I realized how free I am. That's what I really realized. I'm like, wow, I'm not trapped, because everything that he had brought up, I was like, I don't do that. I don't ask really people for their opinions. I don't ask unless I'm seeking information. Generally, I'll seek information. I'll ask someone to clarify something, or if I don't know something, I'll ask. But I never allow people to make a decision for me. That's what I mean by this. I do not allow other people to make decisions for me. And less so now, because I know people don't even understand their lives. So for me to ask someone who I know is degraded, meaning who I know is suffering from their own emotional stuff, people who I know who are denying themselves, people who I know who are suffering because of the decisions that they made, like, what sense? Honestly, ask yourself this. If you're in the third dimension, right, and you have a certain amount of love within you and you're shining bright as you can shine, would you go down to the hells and ask people how to solve a problem? Would you do that? Would you ask someone who isn't capable of solving that problem for themselves to solve it for you? Does that make any sense? For most of you, you will say no. And that's what happens when you ask people questions who are more degraded than you are, or who have more degradation within their soul than you do. And this is why, and I understand why AJ said, when you do pass on into the spirit world, if you want to know something, ask someone who is brighter than you are, because the person who is brighter than you are knows more than you do. And they know more than you do because they have more love within themselves than you do. And this is the brightness. This is what causes them to be bright. A bright being is the love within their soul. And and this is the truth. This is a truth, and you can actually see it here on Earth. You may not see the physical light, but there's a light within others that you can sense. And you're like, wow, you're so positive. You're so this. You're so that. I want to ask you how. Why? How do you do this? What did you learn to get to this space? This. So we do it all the time. We just don't see people shine like a light bulb. But yet they shine like a light bulb. They're so bright and they're magnificent, and you just recognize it in that person. And so that's what I just realized yesterday, is that how free I am, but at the same time, I understood how trapped people are. And I was like, wow, these things that you're asking of me is I couldn't I could not imagine asking those things. I cannot. And the thing is, the reason why I don't want to is because I've already lived that. And I know the feeling of uncertainty. I know the feeling of not knowing where to go and what to do and why things are happening and how to get out of it. Like, I've been there already. And so for me to go back into that cage is not, no. No. And so I couldn't. And the thing is, I don't have to. I was able to sit there. And because someone asked me, you know, well, what about if someone's in the hospital and they're dying? He tried to get real extreme. He really tried. He tried to get real extreme. He's like, okay, well, you know, what if somebody... Jesus. He said, what if someone you love is in the hospital and they're dying? And I'm looking like, and? But I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that. I could not say that. So I said, well, that wouldn't affect me because I understand what death is. And I was like, we don't die. So while that person may be afraid, I'm not afraid. And that person, you know, when other people may be afraid of losing, that's what he said. He goes, what about losing someone in the physical? And I'm like, but they're not dead. So I'm not losing them at all. It's no different than my best friend moving to, Tibet. And there's no phone. I didn't lose the person. The person is still around. I'm just not in physical contact with that person. It's the same thing. But the memories that I have of the person, the feelings that I have towards the person, it's all the same. It's all the same, whether they're near me or not near me, whether they're 100 miles away or 2,000 miles away or however many miles away across the seas. It doesn't matter. They're still alive. You're just shedding your physical thing, and that's what I realized yesterday. It's like people are really trapped in their body, like there's nowhere to go. Because whatever their belief is, and the thing is, that question that he asked was a belief that he is, or other people would be, losing someone. That's the only way you can bring that up as a scenario, because you believe it's a possibility. And I know that is not a possibility. I'm certain of this. And because of this certainty that I have, because of this alignment that I have with truth, I can't be bothered by it. I just can't. Someone called me the other day and said, I have cancer. And I knew why the person was calling, but I didn't go there. I was like, okay, that's what I said. They said, okay. And the conversation went somewhere else. Like, that wasn't even a focus for me. It wasn't like, oh my God, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's like, I know exactly why the cancer is there. They told me where it was. I knew why it was there. I knew what was going on. I knew what caused it. So where am I supposed to go with this? Like, I knew. They didn't know. They were basically in a panic. And so, and then then they called back. I don't know if it was the next day or 2 days later. They said, I don't have cancer. I said, they said, I said, what happened? Well, what happened? They said, I read my file wrong. I said, oh my God. You done send yourself into a tailspin for no reason at all, and trying to involve everybody else in it. And this is what I'm saying. If it were anyone else that person told they had cancer, they would have been, their emotions, their emotional being would have been disrupted. There would have been a discord with them. There would have been fear within them. There would have been all kinds of emotions of loss within them. There would have been all kinds of things going on with that person if they would have accepted the fact of how the person was interpreting what was happening. But that didn't happen to me. Like, I was not fazed by it one bit. One bit. It's like, okay, I have cancer. Okay, what's for dinner? You know, it's like, Well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? I can't say anything really to you because I already know your belief systems are in this pot. So I'm going to allow you to be with your free will to believe whatever you want to believe. And now you have to interpret interpret the event that's happening to you through your beliefs that you choose to hold. Like, that's the truth. Because I wasn't about to say anything. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's your business. And, but they said they read their file wrong. And then they said, the doctor actually, clarified everything. But this is what I'm saying. A degraded soul will have this type of experience. They're trapped in their body. They don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? Everything that happens to them affects them. And that's what I realized yesterday about myself, is that I don't live like that anymore. I just don't. There's a sense of calmness and peace. And it's only because I have truth. And if you have truth, like I've said in a long time ago video, I said, if you hold truth, you hold love. Because truth is synonymous with love. If you hold truth, then you're loving. Because if you hold truth, you don't disrupt yourself within your being. Like, there's no disruption there, there's no discord there, and you don't disrupt other people. And the thing is, the person who said that they have cancer called me or texted me and to say that, hey, this bad thing is happening to me. And if I were anybody else, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm going to lose you. And that didn't happen. And I'm so grateful that I'm here, because that is probably one of the best and most appreciated and grateful transformations that I have ever experienced. Because there really is a sense of freedom within my being. And I remember being trapped in my body, I should say. I remember being trapped in my physical body and being subjected or feeling subjected to any and everything that had ever happened to me. Everything that was going on in my life, I was affected by it. And now I'm not. Things are going on around me, but I'm not affected by it. The first thing I ask anytime anything happens to me is, or I should say this, instead of venting, instead of complaining, instead of sharing my whatever event is going on, instead of doing that, I ask myself, why is this happening? And as I engage in this process of asking myself, why is this happening? I don't have time for venting. I don't have time for complaining. I don't have time for sulking. I don't have time for any of that, because I'm too busy asking myself, why is this happening? Why is it happening? What does this mean? What is the message? If I'm preoccupied with trying to better understand so I can improve my being so that I don't experience it anymore, I don't have time for anything else. There's no time for nonsense. There's no time for that. And I'm grateful for that. It has taken a long time. I'm 42 years old. It's taken a long time for me to get to this place. But yet, it didn't take that long to get to this place. I know this is crazy. Is there a holiday? Because I'm on the 405 and everyone knows that the 405 is like... what's this in the road? Cans? I don't know. So that's what I realized, and it's such an amazing feeling. So for those of you out there who are feeling trapped in your body, feeling as if there's nowhere to go, there's nowhere to turn, there's nowhere to get out of your situation, that's not true. That is not true. And the only way you're going to get the feeling of freedom, or have the feeling of freedom, experience the feeling of freedom, is if you learn what the truths are. The truths are, you are not your body. The truths are, you don't have to be subjected to the pain or you don't have to be subjected to the experiences you're having. Recognize that it's there. Obviously, you have to recognize some kind of pain, because you have to recognize it in order to get the message. Ooh, that sun is bright. You have to, in order to, let me see if I can, that skunk. Let me see, can I turn my brightness on this thing down? Is that better, people? It's so dark. I don't know. Anyway, I think I had enough time to get a donut. I don't need a donut, but I had time to get one. No, I didn't. You don't have to, oh, that's what I was saying. So, you have to recognize the pain, obviously, because there's a message in that. But you don't have to live in it. Just enough to receive it. Because generally your pain is going to come out of the blue. From your perspective, it's going to come out of nowhere. You won't know why it's happening, and that's why you have to stop and say, what's going on here? What am I seeing? Why am I experiencing this? And let me tell you this. It's better to have the foundation of truth, to know the basics, the fundamentals of what is universal laws, because this is the foundation that you're going to need in order to answer your questions. You're going to need the answer or you're going to have to understand how the universe is created or structured, I should say, in order to answer your questions. Because thus far, you've been answering your questions, but they've been the wrong answers. And the reason why the answers have been wrong is because your foundation is wrong. Your foundation is false. It's not real and it's not true. And therefore, the untrue foundation that you hold is resulting in your untrue answers. So as you have the foundation of truth, you have the answers that are true. This is how it works. People ask themselves why things are happening, and they come up with an answer, but the answer is false. Which is why they make a decision based on the falsehood that they came up with, thinking that it's the truth, that the answer is the truth, and it's not. And you have to have the foundation of truth. Fairfax. Do I want to get off here? Why not? I'm like 15 minutes early. What's going on? I don't know what. What kind of nonsense is this? I've never been on an off-ramp like this. I don't think I've ever gotten off on Fairfax. Oh, I know where I am. Okay. I know where I am. I'm trying to actually see if there's a donut shop. I'm trying to be slick and say, is there a donut shop over here? Anyway, that is, I don't think I would want to stop at a donut shop over here. To be honest with you, do I really want to get out of my car? I'm bordering the hood. Anyway, your answers will be dependent upon whatever beliefs you have, whatever feelings you have, how you understand things. That's where your answers are going to come from, because your answers are pulling from you. That's where your answers are coming from, you. So if you hold untruths and false concepts, what do you think your answer is going to be? It's going to be part of what you know. And if what you know isn't true, then you're going to mislead yourself. So this is why I say it's important to have the foundation of truth to understand what that is. Because yesterday I just saw it and I was like, you know how you see something, you're like, I don't want that shit. That looks awful. That looks painful. That looks just gross. That's what I saw yesterday when I saw people trapped. Because all these questions that they're asking, it's because they feel trapped. How do you deal with this? What do you do? This is why you need to talk to someone else. You need to depend or lean on other people because you can't do it yourself. You don't have enough within you to lean on, to depend on. And I depend on myself. I depend on myself to give the answers. I trust myself to give myself the answers. And that's huge. I trust myself to do this. Most people don't trust their answers. Even though they give themselves answers, but the thing is, people want to tell themselves what they want to believe so they can have the outcome that they want. Not understanding that it's not that they can't have the outcome. It's not that they can't have the pleasurable outcome. It's the understanding in which they have that they're trying to generate that outcome. And the thing is, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, you can. People have been. I should have, I do not see a donut place. I don't even think there is a donut place over here. I think I looked for it before and I didn't see one. So I ended up going here to See's Candy. Oh, that's a bummer. So, yeah, there's nothing over, let me see, it is 45, I'm still 15 minutes early, so I still have 15 minutes. Yeah, it was an awful feeling, just trying to put myself in their shoes of uncertainty. I was like, ooh, no, like, to be so unsure or so uncertain to where you have to ask someone for advice. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with asking. Ask to get clarity, so that, I guess I can say, ask questions so that you can empower yourself to have the answers for yourself. Ask questions as to how you do it. Don't just ask someone for the answer to your problem. Ask people, how do you do this? Like, how did you get to where you are? How do you solve these problems on your own? Those are the questions you should be asking. But you don't have to ask those questions because you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You can live your life how you're living it. If you're comfortable asking other people for answers, if you're comfortable always depending on someone and not being able to depend on yourself, then that's your choice. And some people actually like that. They like that. I had a friend who asked me a question about, is it okay? She said, I posted something and they said, is it okay to be certain and be uncertain? Or is it okay? What was it? Is it okay to depend on someone? Oh, if you, gosh, what was that post? If you, oh, you can be sad if you don't have anyone to depend on, or you can feel empowered because you don't have to. So that was my post. And so someone said, well, is it okay to be both? And the fact that they said, is it okay, means that there's an uncertainty. Because they said, at times I feel empowered, that I don't need to depend on someone. And at times I feel like I can't do it on my own and I need to depend on someone. That's what the question was. But the fact that they asked, is it okay to be both? And it's like, in my eyes, no, it's not. It's not okay to be both. It's okay to not have to depend on someone. It's okay to have the answers for yourself. It's okay to be able to make a decision on your own without any input from anyone. That's what's okay, but that's what's okay for me. Is it okay for her? Absolutely. Because the thing is, people find comfort when someone is there to comfort them. You hear me? They find comfort when other people are around to comfort them. When they aren't sure or certain, they feel sure and they feel assured. Actually, they feel assured. And they feel a sense of certainty because they're leaning on the rock, the person that they call the rock. And of course, if you're unstable and it's hard for you to stand up and you lean against the rock, oh, you feel much better. Oh, I can hold myself up. But you're not. The rock's holding you up. But as soon as that rock leaves, you're back to dealing with the truth. You're back to dealing with the truth. I don't know. Is there a donut place in here? I want a donut. Get into my belly. Let's see. Bath and Body Works. Nope. Just donut. I'm just looking for a donut sign. No. Chipotle, no. Damn it, I know I should not go that way. Damn it. Damn it. And I know. Actually, you know what? Is that Randy's Donuts? I think it's Randy's Donuts. Randy's Donuts is... you know what? I did not realize Randy's Donuts was this close to where I work. For some reason, I thought it was far away. But it's really not. But it's going to be hard to get back just looking at that traffic right there. And it's probably a long line, too, for Randy's. I'm just digging myself into a hole. I can already see it. I can already see it. Here I was 15 minutes early. Now I'm going to be 15 minutes late. Because I don't need a donut. I see it's a bad decision. But one that I'm going to make anyway. You see, that's how easy it is to get in trouble. That's how easy it is to get in trouble. So yeah. So anyway, for those of you who do feel trapped, you don't need to feel trapped. You don't have to feel trapped. You can remain there if you like. It's not difficult to get out of that feeling. But one thing that has to change is the feeling that you have about yourself. That has to change. You have to feel, like from yesterday's video, you have to feel what you want. Like whatever you desire, you have to feel that. You have to believe. You have to have faith. You have to feel it. You can't think in your mind, I want to be confident. I want to be able to make my own decisions. I want to do this. You cannot do that if you don't have faith in yourself. You cannot do that if you don't believe that that is a thing that is possible. That's why I towards the end of, or in the middle of my video, I said I really like this video because it was a good video. Because it was all that anybody ever needs. It's all that anybody ever needs. Ever. And that's the truth of it. That's all you need, people. That's all you need. To have faith. Faith in what? You. Faith in your ability. Faith in the universe. Faith in God. Faith in whatever. Just have faith. Have faith that the plant is going to grow. Don't have a green thumb? Have faith that it's going to grow. Don't have a green thumb? What does that mean? That means you have a brown thumb. So what does that mean? I knew it. I knew this line was going to be here. At Randy's Donuts. Well, I'm here now, so I was going to get my cinnamon roll that I want. It'll probably take 20 minutes to get through the whole thing, but whatever. Yeah, I said, it was a good video because it really is all you need. Faith is all you need. Oh, what I was saying, if you believe you have a brown thumb, then you have to believe you have a green thumb. You have to believe, you have to be able to tell yourself that you want you want the plant to grow, that you do have the ability to help the plant grow, that your love and care for the plant to grow. Because if you have love and care for the plant that you're trying to take care of, then what you will do is you will learn until you get the feeling of what to do and what not to do. Because with my plants, I have all kinds of plants at home. This is just an example, but I have all kinds of plants at home, and Yeah, I have all kinds of plants at home, and I know which ones to. I know when they need water and when they don't. When they need water and when they don't. Like before, I used to drown my plants. I used to give them like a gallon of water. Like when I was younger, I used to just, I used to overwater them, and I didn't know I was overwatering them, and I just did what I thought needed to be done. But what I needed to understand is that every plant has different needs, just like every person has different needs. And so now I know, okay, I can water the snake plant once a month. This palm needs more water. That palm doesn't need much water. I mean, because not all palms are the same. Some palms that can just swim around in water. Some palms can't. They need to have more like a dry soil. So really, like I said, it really depends. But until you get there, you have to learn. Do some research. I had to do research. Now I know what to do. And that's the same thing as what I'm saying about yourself. Learn what you need. Learn how you operate. Learn about the soul. Just as I had to learn about the plant and its needs, you have to learn about your soul, because most people out there don't know what that is. Like I said before, the reverend and the preacher and the priest will say you have a soul, but that doesn't mean that they know what the soul is. So if they don't know what the soul is, and you're going to church and you're depending on them, then you can't know more than your teacher. If you're only listening to your teacher, if you're only listening to your reverend, if you're only listening to your priest, if you're only listening to whomever, you can't know more than them if you're only listening to them. And this is important to understand. And so that's why I don't just listen to AJ. I don't just listen to, Abraham. I don't just listen to this person. I don't just listen to that person. I listen to all kinds of people. I listen to all kinds of people. Whether they're spirits or in physical form. It doesn't matter. And just because I listen to someone doesn't mean I have to accept everything that they say. But I know for a fact, whatever I believe, it better damn well be the truth, because if it's not, there's a consequence coming that I don't want to experience. And this is why I have to use a discernment. This is why I have to be diligent in doing this. I must be diligent in doing this. Oh, look, here's some donuts. You want to see some donuts from Randy's Donuts? Let's see. There's some right there. There is the classic, the deluxe, the fancy, and the premium. What is this? National Donut Day. Win free donuts for a year. Join us on National Donut Day. June. Let's see. Get a free bag of glaze. Oh, this line's going to be too long to be coming over here and doing, trying to get some free donut holes. No. No. I don't think so. I'm gonna stand in a 3-hour line for a bag of donut holes. But you know what? If it's your desire, you do it. I'll come on a different day and pay money for some donut holes. My time is more valuable than that. But like I said, if you want donuts that bad, then come on down to get some National Donut Day donut holes. Anyway, but like I said, the other thing that I realize is that I can tell you, for those of you who feel stuck in your body, who feel stuck in your situation, stuck in your circumstances, because that's what I mean when I say stuck in your body, like you're stuck in your circumstances, because your physical body is in alignment with your physical circumstances. And so that's why I say you're stuck in your body, because you cannot escape. And again, that's why people commit suicide. Again, this is why people leave their physical environment and move somewhere else. Like some people are on the move. They are on the move. They're moving all over the place. I'm moving here, I'm moving there, I'm staying here, I'm staying there. They can't be in one place because they're trying to escape something. They are trying to escape, and that's different than someone who wants to explore the world. That is completely different. That's also important to understand. It's important to understand that you can do the same thing, but for different reasons. This is why I said a while back, you can have the same outcome. You can take the same action, but your intent can be completely different. Completely different. And this is important to understand, because someone can say, well, I do nice things for people, but you have to ask yourself, why do you do nice things for people? Or why do you do the things that you do and call it nice? That's what you should be asking yourself. Because the reasons why you do it is telling everything you need to know about yourself. Some people do it for attention. Some people do it because they want to stop someone else's pain or suffering. Some people do it because they want to be recognized. Some people do it to maintain a facade of, I'm a kind, loving person. You're not a kind, loving person if you're destroying your life. You're not a kind, loving person if you're putting yourself out. You're not a kind, loving person if you give your last $2 to someone. You're not a kind, loving person if you're doing anything for someone and it's taken away from you and you have no more. You're not a kind, loving person at all. You're a degraded soul, putting yourself in a more painful situation because of your pain. And this is what degraded souls do. A degraded soul can only cause pain. That's what a degraded soul can do. That's all they can do. That's the only thing they can do. Cause more pain. They're either causing more pain or sustaining pain. So if someone is on drugs and you put them and you try to help them out, and they say, oh, I'm hungry, and again, you have $5, you give them $5 just so they can what? Get more drugs. And you may think you're helping, but you're not. And so your degradation is being misconstrued as love and kind and helping, when in actuality, all you're doing is sustaining their habit. If you have, one of the things someone said is, or one of the things, questions that the guy had asked me yesterday was, well, what do you do if if you have friends, two friends, they're both your friends, and maybe you're closer to one of them, and one of them is cheating on the other one? Like, how do you do that if that's weighing on your heart? And my thing was, I didn't say it, but in my mind I was like, that wouldn't weigh on my heart. And I was like, okay. I go, well, they said if someone is being mistreated and they're with this person and they're cheating on them, like, what do you do? Do you say something like, how would you handle that? And I said I wouldn't. It's none of my business. First of all, it's none of my business. And then they said, what if they're choosing to stay with that person and that person is mistreating them? And I said, you just said it right there. They're choosing to. They're choosing to stay there even though they know this person is doing X, Y, and Z. So obviously if they know something and they're choosing to stay there, that's a choice that they have made. Who am I to tell anybody what choice to make? Everyone has their free will. And this is what I'm saying. Like, these are the things that people go through that I don't go through. Like, this is why I have more calmness and more peace in my life. Because I don't allow myself to be consumed by other people's problems. Because I had established with him that we are the creator of our own problems. Like, we create it. We are the creators of it. We make choices that cause us to be in a situation. All problems are self-created, and he agreed. So if he agrees with that, then how could he possibly be asking me these questions? Because he doesn't fully believe it. He does not fully believe it. And most people, we can say, yeah, we create a reality, yeah, we're responsible. but you don't live like it. You don't act like it. You want to blame your problems on what someone did to you, right when you just established that we're the creator of our problems. And this is I call it psychosis, but this is a psychosis. It doesn't make any sense. And this is how people live. They live their life like this, without it making any sense at all. All these decisions, every decision that you make is to support something in the moment, to support a view in the moment, to support what you want. Whether it's something you want to see, or it's something that you want someone else to see, but it's all manipulation. You manipulate yourself and you manipulate others. And that's what I don't allow, is other people to manipulate me. I will not buy someone else's sob story. That's your way of manipulating yourself, and by you telling me that, you're trying to manipulate me, and I don't allow that. You can try, but it's not going to work. You can waste your time if you want to. She said, damn. I don't know if you could read her lips. She said, damn, when she saw this line. But it's the truth. You're trying to manipulate someone else. You've already manipulated yourself, and you want to sustain that manipulation by sharing that untrue story with someone else so that they agree with you. Anytime you have a relationship problem, or you hear someone talk about the relationship problem, they will tell you a version of the story. And it's the version of the story that they need you to believe so that they can continue to believe. Because sometimes people don't buy their story. Like, they know, listen, pay attention, because you have done this at some point. There has been times when you've had a problem with someone, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, coworker, friend, or whatever. You've had some kind of fallout, and you're upset over it. And you talk to another friend or family member or coworker about it, and you say to yourself, this is what happened and this is what happened. Meanwhile, you know that the story that you're saying or that you're telling isn't the whole truth. Because 9 times out of 10, you're leaving out your part. You may not leave out all of your part, but you're leaving out a part. And that part is your contribution to what happened. Your wrongdoing to what happened. And so when you tell your story, you say it in a way where it makes the other person look like they're at fault. When in actuality, you played an equal role in it. But and so what you try to do is you try to get them to say, gosh, what an asshole. What a bitch. I can't believe that. That's just ridiculous. And you're like, I know, right? And now you start to believe it. So that manipulation that you did is really for you. So now you have backup, you have support of this lie, and now this lie can be true. Now this lie can be true, and this is what happens. This is what happens. Well, all I can say is you can continue to do this for the rest of your life if you want to. But number one, you're going to pay in so many ways because you're lying. Flat out, straight up, you're lying. And this is why you have to own everything that you've done. Someone had asked, it was asked, what happened in your last relationship? And I was like, this. I was like, well, they asked, why did it break up? And the thing is, I couldn't say it was the other person, and I couldn't say it was me either. And I said the truth. It was just a mixture of things. It was both of us. It was both of us. It was them. It was me. That's the truth of it. It was my fault. It was their fault. We both played a part in it, and that's why we're not together. Plain and simple. I can't blame it all on the other person. When I think back of the two relationships the two first ones that I had, I was like, because I've only had 3, I didn't want to be in them. That was my fault. I did that. I need to own that. I wasn't honest and truthful about not wanting to be in the relationship. And so because I couldn't speak up for myself, I ended up being in a relationship. Something that I never wanted to be in, I ended up being in because I did not know how to speak up for myself. I didn't know how to say, I don't want to be in this relationship. I didn't want a relationship. I didn't know how to say that. And because I didn't, we went through our ups and downs and lefts and rights and whatever. And that was my fault because I made the decision. I was afraid. I made a decision based on being afraid of making a different decision. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there's only one. There's only one answer. And that's the truth. Do you want to be in a relationship with me? No. That's the truth. You have to be truthful. If you don't want to, you don't want to. You can't care about what someone else is going to feel because of the truth. This is why it's so easy for me to speak the truth now. Do you want this? No. Do you want? No. 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 That's not what I want. And if someone gets mad because they're offering something that you don't want, then that's just them being mad, and you don't have to be mad. Because trust me, what's the point of satisfying someone else because they're offering something and you're accepting it and they're walking around happy, but now you're walking around miserable? And so I had to walk around miserable. This is what I'm saying. Like, there's only one answer. Just tell the truth, whatever it is. Even if you're afraid to tell the truth and you know what the truth is, tell the truth. Just be truthful. And you're not being truthful with them. You're being honest and truthful with yourself. Being honest and truthful with them is a byproduct of you being honest and truthful with yourself. Do you love me? No, I don't love you. I don't love you anymore. I thought I did, but I don't. That was my mistake. Seriously, it's that simple. It's that simple. Be honest. Set them free. The truth will set you free, and the truth will set someone else free. Because if you're with someone and you don't love them, and you say, I don't love you, and they leave you, allow them to leave you. What is the bad thing about that? You didn't want to be in it, and now that they left, you're afraid or you're sad. Well, you need to get it together. You see, and that's the thing. That just triggers another emotional injury of being alone, being abandoned. Being alone and being abandoned. And that's actually what I experienced in my last relationship, when we broke up. I didn't want to be in the relationship, but when the person decided they didn't want to be in the relationship by being in a different relationship, I was bothered by it. But it wasn't, and that's the thing, like, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I was sad, but I didn't know why I was sad. I was sad because of the sense of abandonment, the sense of rejection. I didn't know that was even a thing. But now I can look back and see it. And it's okay to not be able to see things in the past, but it's important to understand it in the present because it allows you to not make that same mistake again. This is why it's so important to know truth now, in your now moment, and don't be so hard on yourself for not knowing what was true in the past. If you didn't know the answer in the past, it's okay. If you made bad decisions in the past, it's okay. If you made a mistake in the past, it's okay. That is for you to learn. Your past is a tool to learn how to improve your present so that you can improve your future. Because if you hold on, if you're still living the same way you lived when you made the mistake, then you're going to create that again in your future. It's held in the cards for you. So this is why you have to toss the cards away. Toss those old cards away. Let them go. Get some new cards. Because whatever hand you have, toss those cards away. Get some new cards. Be dealt deal yourself a new hand. Give yourself a new hand. Give yourself some new playing cards. Because if you keep holding the ones that you have close to you, you're only going to be able to play the same hand. So play a different hand. And you have that power. Right now, in this moment, you have that power. What I'm saying today is part of what I realized yesterday. I just have the power to do whatever I want. To choose whatever I want for myself. To live in pain, to live in fear, or to not live in pain or not live in fear. These are all choices. My choices. My choices. All of them mine. I don't have to ask. I don't have to depend on anybody else. It's all mine. And you can do this too. And I'm starting to, as I was thinking about making this video, it's like, now I understand what Jesus meant, like how he was feeling when he said, you can do this. You don't have to be like this. Not only from that perspective of being able to say it, but to live it. To know that, hey, things can change. It's so simple. It's so easy. Because that's what he said. It's so easy. It's so simple. All you have to do is do this. All you have to do is do this. And I say that all you have to do is do this. All you have to do is do this. But if you want to hold on to what you want to hold on to, that's your choice. You have free will. But I guarantee you, most people don't want to live in their misery. Most people don't want to live in pain. Most people don't want to live being trapped. But this is a choice that people make every day for themselves. And you can't feel any kind of way about it. You can't feel... I don't feel sad. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's, it'd be so great if their life could change. Now, it would be great if your life could change, and it can change, but the thing is, I can't want something more, or I can't say I can't want something more. Yeah, I can say that. I can't want something more for you. I have to respect what you want for yourself. My wants, irrelevant. What I do put out there is information so that people can choose to improve themselves. That's what I do. I put information out there so that people can have a choice, because there are some people out there who do not believe they have a choice. And you do. Everybody has a choice. And that's one of the reasons why I make these videos. I am not shoving anything down anybody's throat. It's just out there. It's just out there. I used to post my videos on my Facebook. I used to share it and blah, blah, blah. And I don't so much anymore. I don't so much anymore because it's like, if someone really desires to change, then they'll change. They'll look for something to change. It'll come across their path. But all I can do is do my part, which is just put it out there and allow someone to grab it. Just allow someone to grab it. That's it. That's what I do. Good grief. What are they making donuts to order? It says I'm going to be 25 minutes late. Oh, well. Oh, well. All right, everybody. I think that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. You look tired, girl. You look like it's time to go home. You been here all night? Yep, you've been here all night. I can tell by looking at that apron. Working that graveyard. Because I think Randy's is open 24 hours. For the po-po. Anyway, so have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye now.